I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling demotivated after 3 CELPIP attempts. I need advice and support. This comes in from Behavoc on Reddit. And Behavoc, my man, I feel you. This is really frustrating. It is so difficult to attempt something as important as the CELPIP, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and each of those times not quite obtain the score that you're looking for. Yeah, that is frustrating and demotivating and absolutely discouraging, and I feel so bad for you that you're going through this. And what I thought I would do is create this video to try to help you. And more than anything, I just want to, first of all, encourage you to not give up. You're showing incredible tenacity, incredible perseverance, incredible grit, in that you're not giving up. And honestly, I think that that is the core of what you need in order to succeed on this test and in general as an immigrant, as someone who is trying to build their life in Canada. You know this. I know you know this. This kind of thing is hard. And, you might look around and see other people, even here on Reddit, writing in and saying, yeah, I got 12s on my first attempt, no studying. You read stuff like that and you think, what the heck is the wrong with me? Why am I having such a hard time trying to get my score? 3 times I've been trying this, and I still can't get it, and there seems to be people out there who can get it on their first try, and they get these perfect marks. What's wrong with me? Well, first of all, Behavoc, hi, my name is Aaron. Hello, if you are watching this for the first time and you don't know me, I'm Aaron. I have been an English teacher for over 17 years, and I am a certified CELPIP trainer. This is what I do. I help people just like you to break out of their stubborn test scores to achieve the result that they're looking for. I don't have all the answers, and I don't know you exactly, but just reading through your situation, one, made me feel for you, made me feel like I want to try to help, and others like you, because I know that this is a common situation where you try repeatedly and it just doesn't work. So what I thought I would do is just read through really quickly what you shared on Reddit, and then I'll dive into my answer. Here's your question. You said, honestly, I'm just super frustrated right now, and I need to share this right here. I've taken the CELPIP 3 times, and today I got my latest result: listening 8, reading 10, writing 8, speaking 6. In my first 2 attempts, I got 7 in speaking and 8 in writing. This time, I was so sure I'd finally get 9 in both. I spoke confidently, I managed time well, I covered all the points, but somehow my speaking dropped even more. I've already applied for reevaluation, but honestly, I'm feeling completely demotivated right now. I really need CLB 9 for my next step, and it's been so mentally draining. I've taken all my tests, and then you go on to say the name of a place. You took all of your tests in that location. Do you think I should try a different test center, or is it more about how I structure my answers? Any tips or experiences from those who have managed to jump from a 6, 7 to a 9 or a 10 in speaking would really help. English isn't my first language, but I'm giving my 100% every time. Any kind of guidance or motivation would mean a lot right now. Thanks, everyone. So once again, Behavoc, know that I'm with you. I know that this is super frustrating, but you are demonstrating what you need to succeed on this test. You have the grit, you have the patience, you have the desire to succeed, and you're motivated. So don't let go of that. Keep it as you are moving forward with this, all right? You're going to get there. You are. So your first question, should I change test centers? That's the first time I heard somebody voice a question like that, and I think it's a really interesting point. Think back to your test day. On your test day and on the previous times you took the test, because I think you said that you did it in the same test center, right? On your test days, does the test center always feel noisy? Is it filled with lots of distractions? Is that what you think is kind of messing with you as you are doing your exam? If it is, if it's noise distractions, if it's the people around you that you can hear too many things going on, maybe that is a good reason to explore a different test center. If you feel like there's a lot of distractions where you are right now, if that's what's getting in your way, by all means, look for other options. And maybe you could look and see if there are any reviews of those test centers. I don't know if you can find it on Google Maps, where sometimes, they give reviews on restaurants, for example, where people will say what their experience was like. That would be my first suggestion for you if you decide to go that route. Check and see if you can find reviews of that test center to see if they are quiet, to see if people have had good experiences being there as far as the environment goes. Look for that before you make your move. But I kind of have a feeling, based on the work that I've been doing with people who are getting ready for their CELPIP exams, I kind of think that maybe there's something else that's going on in here. You said in your answer that you were speaking confidently, which is really good. You said that you were managing your time well, which is excellent. And actually, time management is one of the biggest issues that test takers face. So well done on you being able to manage your time well. And then you said you were able to cover each of the questions correctly, like you were able to fully answer the questions that were being offered in. You were able to completely respond to the questions, is what I'm trying to say. So all of those things are really important. And if you don't include those things, like if you're not speaking for the correct amount of time, if you're speaking, if you're get cut off in the middle of a response, meaning that you didn't finish your answer in time and the exam just moved on to the next question, all of those things are issues that could negatively affect your score. So it seems like you're doing that part right. Here's where I wonder if you are considering these parts to a strong answer. You need to know that test raters listen to your speaking samples or your speaking responses through several different filters or lenses, if you will. Like, I have my glasses on, right? If I were to put on my sunglasses, I would be looking through my glasses with kind of like a filter in place, right? The world around me would be a little bit darker because of the filter that I'm using. Not that the test raters are wearing sunglasses, but what I'm trying to say is that they listen to your answer through several different filters. And one of those filters is something called the content filter. And what they're listening for is if you are providing strong ideas for each question. And are those ideas strong enough? And are you providing an explanation for each one? This is actually the most common issue that I've noticed with the students that I work with, is that they provide at the beginning, before we start working together, they are usually providing very simple ideas, or they're providing good ideas, but they're not providing enough reasons or examples to back those ideas up. So it's not enough just to provide a great idea. You need to provide examples or reasons to explain why that idea is important. And you should aim for at least 3 in each of your answers. Like, don't settle for 1, don't settle for 2. See if you can include 3 major ideas or 3 main points. And for each point, you should provide that backup information that I was just telling you about, where you are explaining why that idea or why that suggestion is so important. So that is what content is all about. Are you providing enough information, and are you explaining that information as much as you can. And again, aim for 3 main reasons and provide explanations and examples to help support each of those reasons. So the next idea that I have for you has to do around vocabulary. We all have crutch words. And what I mean by crutch words is that I have words and phrases that I overuse in my day-to-day life. For example, I know that one of the things that I use a lot, like I know I use it with my students, and I bet that I bother them with this. And it's not intentional that I do it this way, but I very frequently will say, does that make sense? Does that make sense? I use it even outside of my work with my students. Even when I'm like talking with somebody or trying to explain something, I over rely on that phrase, does that make sense? There are other ways that I could be checking to see if someone is understanding. I could say, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Or did that come across well? Do you have any questions? But I always rely on, does that make sense? That's like one of my crutches. So it's really important to be kind of self-aware of the words and the phrases that you use, because everybody has crutch phrases. Everybody has words and phrases that come naturally to us that we feel very comfortable using, that are just our go-tos. So be careful about that. And one way that you can be checking for those is to be practicing using your cell phone. Like, I can't grab my cell phone right now because I'm recording this using my phone, but you should be using your cell phone to record yourself practicing speaking tasks. You should be doing this on a regular basis. And when you see if you can remember some of the questions that you faced on your exam days, write them down, and then just spend, 5-10 minutes a day trying to respond again to those questions, but recording yourself on your cell phone's voice memo app. And then what you can do is replay the message back to yourself, and you can be listening, like pretend that you are a test rater, and you can be listening through those different lenses that I was just telling you about. You could be listening through the content lens. Am I providing enough ideas? Like when you're giving your answer, count the number of main ideas you use, and then make sure that for each one of those main ideas, you are providing backup information to help support it. That's one way that you can listen to yourself. Another way, now that we're talking about vocabulary, is as you're listening to your recording, see if you are using words or phrases again and again in your answer, like you are over relying on a certain word or phrase. If you hear that happening, that is a clue that it might also be happening on your test days. And test raters are listening for that. They want you to use variety in the way you speak. So if you are hearing that in your practice responses, listen to it again. And for each time that you repeat yourself, like using the same word or phrase again and again, see if you can come up with alternatives for those words or phrases. Or if you flat out know that you over rely on a word or phrase, like what I was just telling you a few moments ago, see if you can bring in a replacement for that. Like it's not wrong to use your go-to phrase as long as you don't do it all the time. Use variety, because variety is the spice of life, right? You want your answer to be interesting to listen to. So that's my first vocabulary idea for you. Are you over relying on words or phrases? The next one, and this is also a common issue that I've seen that I've seen my clients dealing with, and that is using simple words or phrases when I know they know more complex ways to express those ideas. For example, let's see. This is a small battery. Like maybe someone would say that this is a small battery, but what if instead you said this is a tiny battery, right? But instead of saying that this is a small battery, what I'm trying to get at is there are other ways that you could describe the size of it without using the common phrase or the common word small, tiny, mini. This is a mini battery, right? And there are even smaller ones. There's even tinier batteries, uh, that you would use different words for. And that's what I'm trying to get at is don't rely on simple vocabulary words. See if you can include more complex ones. And when I say that, I also want to put a parenthesis around this. You still want to sound like you. That's really important. You don't need to memorize the thesaurus where there's all of these weird, not very common words that mean the same thing as the word that you're trying to say. You don't want to be sounding artificial in your answer. Like you should be listening and using everyday words, but don't aim for the simplest ones. See if you can bring more complexity into your answers by choosing more difficult words or less common words without going over the top and sounding artificial. That's really important. You want to sound normal, natural, just like you're talking with a friend, but not bringing in words and phrases that just don't come naturally in everyday conversations. I almost said, does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that? Like, I think it's really important to bring in different ways to say what you're saying, but just make sure that those different ways are still commonly used. Don't elevate your answers so much that you stop sounding like a normal human being. I hope that one helps. The next one, make sure that you're using figures of speech in your answers or idiomatic expressions when it's appropriate. I was just thinking about the ways that you could talk about being in traffic. You could say that traffic at rush hour was at a standstill. It was at a standstill. I wasn't moving anywhere. Traffic was frozen. I've been stuck in traffic for hours. I feel like I've been stuck in traffic so long that I've aged. All those are different ways that I could be saying the same thing. See if you can use that kind of variety in your expressions by bringing in idiomatic expressions, by bringing in figures of speech that will help you to express those ideas more effectively. So that's the vocabulary lens that I would encourage you to listen to yourself speaking and see if you can identify if you're repeating yourself a lot with words or with phrases that are go-to for you. Make sure that you are not just using the simplest word choice when you're giving your answer. Try your best to include not over the top flowery things, but more complex words to express your ideas. But make sure that you sound like you, and make sure that you're using idiomatic expressions. And finally, the last thing that I would offer you is, and this one, especially if your personality is kind of quiet or if you're shy, this one can be really challenging for you. I'm a shy and quiet person, so this one is one that I need to be practicing and working on all the time, and that is your tone of voice. When you're giving your responses, especially on exam day, when you're probably feeling nervous, it's really important that you push yourself to be expressive with your voice. Make sure that your feelings are coming through in your voice. Like it should not be like a flat monotone, that your voice doesn't go up and down when you're giving your answer. You do need to express those emotions with like when you're using words, make sure that your tone of voice matches what you're trying to say. Like if you are trying to offer, if you're wanting to show empathy, like for one of the speaking tasks, you need to give advice to someone. Maybe the situation is that they're expressing a very, like what happened with you right now. You were expressing how frustrated and how demotivated that you felt. I could a wrong way to respond to that, if this were an exam question, Behavik is having a hard time because after 3 exam attempts, he still can't get the score that he's looking for. What advice would you give him? If my answer was, "Well, Behavik, I think you should just try harder. I don't think that you're doing the best job that you can on these 3 specific things." That wouldn't fly very well, right? Because I'm not expressing emotion. I'm not showing empathy. And I think that one of the best things that you can do is pretend that you're actually talking to someone. Like, I'm imagining I'm talking to you right now, and I hope it comes through that way. A good way to begin a question like that is, and I hope I did it well with this answer, is, "Oh, Havoc, I'm so sorry that you're going through what you're going through. That's gotta be so frustrating. Here's what I think that you can do to increase your score." So show some emotion, show some feeling in your answer. Let it be appropriate to what's going on in the question. So when you're listening back to your questions, when you're practicing, see if you can hear your tone of voice going up and down, and that you're expressing emotion with the way you speak. I hope that helps you. I hope that you do not give up. This is very much a game of persistence. It's also very much a game of being strategic with your answers, which is what I'm hoping I can help you to do just by listening for a few key things in your practice. I think that you'll be able to get your score up to a 9. Don't give up.